ho, everybody, and welcome to the Kingdom Compass podcast, where we talk you to the goods and bads of all things Disney. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tanell, Griffy D-Pad, and with me, as always, is the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. How are you doing?
That's a complicated question. And I don't think I have an answer that's going to get us to a meaningful conclusion in less than like 4.5 hours. So rather than boring you with that, I think we should just, do the rigmarole things and all such nonsense.
Enough. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going back to a movie that, man, the title of this episode is going to be Does the Devil Wears Prada hold up in 2026, 20 years later? And it's a conversation that's going to be very, very fun to have. But before we jump into any of that, I will hit you all with a rigmarole. Hi, what's up? How you doing? This is the Kingdom Compass podcast, where we talk about all things Disney and non-Disney and a bunch of other shit. We talk about a lot of stuff. If you enjoy this, head on over to YouTube and check out our video version. If you're on YouTube, we also have a podcast version where you can listen in wherever it is you're listening to us. This isn't the only show we do, though. We also have our TV series that we're doing where we're talking about Daredevil Born Again. We've missed the last couple of episodes. We're kind of just rolling it all into one because scheduling sucks.
I have been very sick, and I am sorry about that.
Rich has been sick. I have been busy.
I'll tell you what. But don't worry, because Mandalorian Grogu comes out in like 3 weeks, and we'll probably talk about that within the next, 4 months.
I have been considering on whether or not I wanted to rewatch Mando, the show. Before.
I started last night.
See, I still need to finish Paradise.
Do that instead.
I'm on
because I also. Sorry, yeah.
I am on season 2 now.
I know. I've started binging Jack Ryan on Prime because I know they're making a movie finale for that as well. It's very good, but it is very interesting to watch with the frame of this is just American military propaganda.
Oh yeah,
but I have been enjoying that. But yeah, I think I am going to do a rewatch of Mando. Probably not Ahsoka, but Mando before the movie drops.
That's fair. Jack Ryan is one of those shows that I love it, but also I have to turn my brain off to watch it.
Oh, 100%. Because I watch it because John Krasinski is one of the most charismatic actors of our time. And the whole, deep state military propaganda business of it can just kind of exist in its space as well.
Now, normally, folks, before we jump into things, we have our segment of the show where we talk about the other things we've been watching, reviewing, watching, playing, listening to, whatever. There's something I want to talk about on the segment, but I haven't actually got around to listening to it yet.
Okay.
And that is, I still very much need to listen to Noah Khan's new album.
Oh, I didn't even realize he came out with a new album.
Oh, yeah.
Shows you how in the loop I am.
It's one of those things where, I want to sit down and listen to it, but I also know that when I sit down and listen to it, it will fuck me up for at least a day, probably longer.
I would suggest you just listen to it the entire day while you're moving, because you're going to be fucked up anyway, so...
True. Well, so that's the issue. Is I'm moving right now, or getting ready to move. I don't have the time to be that messed up. I love this man, but his music is the kind of music if I listen to it after for the first time, and then I need to crawl into a ball in bed and just sit with it.
Yeah, no, and that's entirely reasonable.
Mitch, do you have anything you want to talk about before we jump into things?
I kind of just did. You and I talked a little bit briefly before we started where I've been in a bit of a gaming rut just because it's hard to find time to sit down and play stuff. Sorrows came out this week, and it is going to be my addiction I foresee the next probably 6 months, where I won't play a ton of it, but every time I do, I won't want to stop.
Yeah, it looks like an incredible game, and I am happy I'm skipping it because it would take over my life. All right, we did that. We'll talk about that stuff in more detail next time, y'all.
Yeah.
But before we get into any of that, let's talk about The Devil Wears Prada. Does it hold up in 2026? Because guess what, Mitch? This came out 20 years ago.
And guess what, Griffin? I had never seen it before I sat down to watch it for this episode.
That is incredible to me with how influential this movie is.
Also, the fact that it's one of my wife's favorite films.
That is another insane statement from you that you had not seen this movie.
Just never happened to sit down and watch it. Yeah.
Let me hit you all with the facts. This game out June 30th, 2006, with a runtime of 109 minutes, had a budget of $35 to $41 million, a box office of $326.7 million, starring Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci. Again, how the hell had you never seen this movie, Mitch?
It's one of those things. Like 2006 would not have been a time where I was watching romantic comedies.
I'm not sure you can even call this a rom-com. This is.
We'll see what we call it after we chat.
I'm like, okay,
there are rom elements to it, but yeah, we'll keep going.
Screenplay by Aline Brosh McKenna. You might know her from some other stuff she has written, such as the 2014 rendition of Annie, 2011's We Bought a Zoo, the story for Cruella, but she was also the co-creator and showrunner of a little show on the CW that I absolutely adored called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Highly recommend that show if you have not seen it. Also, man, we need to do a Cruella episode at some point.
We should. It's a great film.
And then, of course, directed by David Frankel. David Frankel, who directed, obviously, this, but also directed Marley and Me, as well as The Big Year. And what's interesting is that this entire team came back together for the sequel to this movie coming out this year, which is, of course, the reason we're talking about this at this point.
Yeah.
Mitch, your first time watching The Devil Wears Prada. What did you think?
I'm glad the title of this episode is "Does this movie hold up 20 years?" They do, because watching this movie, all I could think was this movie would not get made this way today.
Oh God, no!
Oh my goodness! Between like all of the men in this movie, apart from Stanley Tucci, just being terrible people. That's not a great image to put in front of, young women who are going to get into the theater and watch this movie. And then the idea of like the whole thing is your work is your entire identity, work is life, burnout, all of that. I think those themes hold up relatively well, but I worry that the movie paints it in such a positive light that it might have actually influenced young folks that saw this to follow that example. And that's not a positive example to follow.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some bits of this that I'm like, man, I forgot we did that. But I still love the core of this movie. There's bits and pieces in this, right, where it's like the idea of, Andy's dismissal of fashion and whatnot, like the cerulean sweater monologue.
Is one of the best scenes in the entire movie. There are elements of this movie that are very well done, and Meryl Streep is a tour de force in this film. I think every scene she's in, she steals, especially the theming around her and her marriage and what she does with her work life versus her personal life, how they integrate, yet she tries to keep them as tightly separated as she can, and seeing her unraveling, but still being able to maintain this public facade is really powerful. Yeah, I mean, for me, I've never been one to follow fashion, as you can see by the way I dress almost every day. So that's partly the reason why this movie never resonated with me, or I was drawn to watch this for any reason in particular. But no, there is some of the underlying here, and especially Stanley Tucci's character. I think some of the promotion that he's passed up for, or not the promotion, but the new job and all of these things where there's a lot to take away from this film. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of bad that comes with that good.
Yeah, I still think this is one of the best movies I've watched. I still think it's incredible. I think that overworking is the drama that keeps this movie running.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do worry that it's overly romanticized in this movie, whereas that is not the message that folks should be taking from this.
See, I see it, but at the same time, I think they do a really good job of showing the dangers of it. Like, Andy gets out at the end, and that is the big climax, is that she leaves. And, like, God, why can I not remember Emily Blunt's character's name?
You say Emily Blunt's character.
No, her name in it is Emily.
Then that's probably
Yeah,
why.
that's why. Like Emily ends up hospitalized. Like they're very clear about some of the ramifications.
But she ends up hospitalized not because she gets overworked, but because she gets hit by a car.
Yeah, but gets hit by the car because she's thrown back into having to run all of his errands for Miranda.
She's also walking through New York on a cell phone,
In
not paying
heels.
attention.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I guess
and
my point
again,
is
part of the reason why this movie wouldn't get made today is because they would have just Ubered all those things.
true. Well, here's the thing: is like this was like Miranda is based on a very real person.
Oh no, I know.
Like right, like
the editor in chief of Vogue, right?
Yeah. Who apparently loves the movie, by the way. Yeah, I thought all of this was really interesting. I love a lot of this. I think all of it leading up. I think it does such a good job of bouncing between Andy's personal life and her work life. And like I do think that comes to that romanticization, right? Where it's like you have this long conversation with like her and her friends about how she's like, "Hey, take a break, dude." Cut to crazy music, flashing lights, cuts between all of this crazy shit happening at this fashion event.
Yeah, cut to, romanticizing trips to Paris Fashion Week and, hooking up with random attractive dude that you met one night at a bar. Like,
there are two more recent projects I can think of that I think took a lot of inspiration from this movie.
mm-hmm.
That I very much was realizing watching that. The first being Emily in Paris.
Yes.
I think has like nailed that romanticization of overworking
mm-hmm.
in the same way that this did. And then the other movie is Set It Up. Have you seen this movie, Mitch?
I have not. And I honestly thought you were going to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Why would I?
You don't see Willy Wonka in Meryl Streep's character?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's just me.
Well, actually, wait,
no, I've not seen Set It Up.
Which version of Charlie are you thinking?
The Johnny Depp version.
I can kind of see it.
Let's get back to let's get back to where you were going.
Set It Up as a rom-com. It's Zoe Deutsch and Glenn Powell.
I have heard of this, but I've not seen it.
But it shows again the overwork. Now that movie's absolutely hilarious because they're trying to set up their bosses so that they can get time off.
That's a great premise for a rom-com, honestly.
Really
Carmen's out here watching all these Hallmark Channel movies. I'm like, why aren't we watching stuff like this? Maybe we'll watch this tonight.
Honestly, watch it because it's genuinely an incredible movie.
I mean, I really like Zoe Deutsch and Glenn Powell, so I'd be into it.
To this day, so Pete Davidson is in this movie.
Okay, wonderful. You're doing a great job of selling this film.
To this day, there's a line in this movie that my brother and I will just say to each other, and we'll just start cracking up. But getting back to the point I'm going for here. Overwork is something that we're still addressing to this day. Overwork is still very, very much an issue. It is someone who kills themselves for their job. Like, Mitch is privy to the amount that I overwork myself.
Yeah, I think we've all been guilty of it at one point or another.
I think ultimately what it does for this movie is it makes it instantly relatable. And then takes it to its extreme in a way that media can do. And I think it plays it so well. I think there's so much great things here of like, how much are you changing yourself for your job? How much should your job mean to you? And you see it in like so many different versions of like where Miranda's at with it, where Andy's at with it, where Emily's at it with it, where Stanley Tucci's character is at with it. Nigel. There we go. Like Nigel, best character in this movie, by the way. I think we all agree.
By a mile.
But like his is one of my favorites because like he has this clear goal. We know what his goal is from almost the beginning of knowing his character, right? Like, and he gets so close to achieving it, and then Miranda pulls it away. And he's like, okay, I got to keep working at it. And like that is such a relatable thing. And then Andy's like, no, I need to leave because I need to go follow what my dream actually was. Relatable. Like everyone has these goals, and the goal where they're at is not the goal.
Yeah.
But they're working towards it. And I think that's why I love this movie.
It's just the grind of it, right? It's knowing what your goal is and understanding you're not going to immediately end up where you're looking to be, but it's that everyone is at a different stage of the journey of getting to what is their ultimate goal. And I think what's so interesting here is that the goals are so different. Um, you know, but ultimately, I think the differences in those characters and where they're looking to get influences so much of how they act or what they perceive within this industry that I'm not as entrenched in. That it's an interesting, slice of life kind of decomposition around the glitz and glamour that is the fashion industry.
Oh yeah. And I think the other thing for me, like what makes this movie so good, just in general, is that like I mentioned earlier, like the cerulean sweater whole thing. But like,
Mhm.
I think it's one of the things that like I actually took away and learned from this movie is like, hey, I'm not gonna just dismiss this kind of stuff, not just fashion, but just in general. I'm not gonna dismiss something because I know nothing about it. Because it could actually, this most frivolous thing could be far more important than you ever realize. Like, and maybe that's because I work in entertainment, so I work in a
There's a lot of
creative.
overlap here with almost every industry, and I think that's what they do such a good job with that cerulean sweater speech of decomposing the the allure of fashion into what it means to everybody and not just those who are in it. But I also do read that monologue as, getting high on your own supply to an extent, right? Where it's, yes, you buy into this industry and you maintain this industry because you feel like there's an overall, socioeconomic goal to it. But at the end of the day, like, you're putting belts on people and taking photos of them. Like, it does still boil down to very, subtle changes in, public perception and things of that nature. But yeah, there's a lot
I
to
love it.
unpack.
I love that though, because it's like to some level, when you are at that level of that job, you kind of have to get high on your own supply. Otherwise, you're not going to be proficient at the job. And like, I don't know. I think it's just, for a movie that came out in 2006 that's seemingly just about a girl trying to get a journalism gig and ends up in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
It's weirdly nuanced.
It is and it isn't. I think there are elements of this film that are very transparent, and there are also, there are layers to this, like an onion, like Shrek. I just
Good.
like Shrek.
Yeah, fair.
No,
I was
no, I
talking
think
to someone about
like
Shrek the musical the other day.
was really tempted to see that.
It's weirdly good.
I can only imagine.
I think they have a
Uh,
video version of it on some streaming service.
it's somewhere, yeah. I think it might be on Netflix.
I would try.
But no, no, I think there's like, again, it's still a movie that came out in 2006. It's a coming of age story, trying to find your way in the world, trying to, make the most out of a situation that isn't the ideal. And there's a lot that can be related to there. And I think there's still a lot. Like, if I were to watch this with a young person today, I would be pointing out a lot of the shortcomings of this film and of its characters and of its writing, because it is still a subject of the times where hustle culture kind of was in its infancy, back in the early 2000s. And I feel like we've hit a bit of a fever pitch over the last 5 or 6 years. So I definitely would caution anyone who is leaning as heavy into their job as they are to, take a step back, take a moment for yourself, breathe, and just live your life. If living your life means living it about work, that is your choice. But there's so much out there that is not, fighting for the almighty dollar.
Yeah, I want to go back because so this movie is based off of a book by the same name, and I'm realizing in this moment written by Lauren Weisberger, um, who was an assistant to Anna Wintour, which is why everyone has these assumptions.
Why it's all based off of that, the fashion industry. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm realizing I've never read this book, and I feel like I kind of want to read this book to see like. I'm wondering if it's a thing where the book had more nuance.
You have to imagine it did, right?
Yeah, in a way that like book to film adaptation always does.
Yes.
Like I'm reading Project Hail Mary right now, and like there's a lot more nuance to that book than there is in the movie, for better and worse.
I mean, the same can be said about Andy Weir's last book, The Martian.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, Project Hail
Also,
Mary, much
great
better.
movie. I can't wait to read it and watch the movie.
Audiobook apparently is incredible. Everyone keeps telling me to listen to the audiobook. I'm gonna keep reading it, but
yeah,
that's what I.
No, I'm with you. I just like the physical. Like it's funny when, like, all right, we're going on a tangent here. I used to love audiobooks when I was working in a job that was much more like monotonous. I can't listen to like podcasts or audiobooks now when I'm doing my job because I have to focus. I need music. I can't focus with an audiobook or whatever on. But if I'm going for like a long car drive, like if we're going for a long car ride or flight or whatever it might be, that's where audiobooks shine for me at least. So I have to be in the right situation for an audiobook to hit, which is very rare these days.
Dude, I miss when I could listen to podcasts at work. Like,
yeah,
I'm at a point now. I'm at a point now where the second that I put on headphones at the office is the second that somebody walks up to my desk and needs something.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel it so hard.
Let's talk about some individual characters here because I think that is where this movie is so beloved. And really, let's be honest, it's Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Like, Miranda is such a well done character by Meryl Streep. Like, obviously, Meryl Streep can do anything, and we will love it. Like, this is her role that I think of when I think of her.
I think for me, it's still Mamma Mia, but this is definitely another that I think if I watch this more than once, we'll start to go into that, that realm for me. But
that's fair. I think for me, it is like it's the standout of here, right? Like this is where she won the Oscar and the Golden Globe and whatnot. Or nominated for the Oscar, won the Golden Globe. I think she has some of the most like for the character unintentionally, but obviously with the writing, she has some of the funniest moments in this entire show. Like
yeah, no, I can see it.
Part of that her humor is what makes me so excited to see a sequel to this movie.
Yeah.
Up next,
yeah, I don't know what else there is to tell in a sequel. That's the problem, right? Like every character, I mean, I guess, the first movie is just such a slice of life that subsequent media could just be, this is a slice of life 20 years later.
Well, I mean, I know what the second movie's about. Or at least partially about. And it's Runway having to go from print to digital.
Oh, okay. See, that's an interesting premise.
Mm-hmm. And having to deal with that and deal with a whole new world functionally, right? Because like journalism in general is different now than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's different than it was 2 years ago. Thank you.
It's different than it was last week.
Yeah, like it's rapidly evolving and changing based off of where we're at with the world. So I think they've got something special there.
Yeah.
And like again, what gives me so much faith for that movie is the fact that they genuinely got the entire team back together again.
That does help, yes, and the fact that it's based off a sequel to the original novel as well.
Yeah, I forgot to shout it out, but the music in this movie, so good.
I mean, it's very much early 2000s. It's hard to say like it's good or not. It has the like you watch a movie from the early 2000s, it has a soundtrack like this.
Well, I look at it and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that starts to make sense because the music was done by Theodore Michael Shapiro. You might know him from, frankly,
Everything.
lot of movies. We've talked about his work in Idiocracy. But let's see, going through some more recent stuff. Obviously, he's doing the second sequel. But he did the music for Trolls Band to get all of the Trolls movies, actually.
I mean, that tracks.
He did it for the 2016 Ghostbusters, which is honestly the best part of that movie.
Was that the female one?
That was the female one, yes.
I enjoyed parts of that movie.
I enjoyed parts of that movie, and then I realized that most of the things I enjoyed was just Chris Hemsworth playing a himbo.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did the music for The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which is incredible. Um, did some other stuff as well: Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Jennifer's Body, Tropic Thunder. Obviously, this one, Idiocracy, which, by the way, Isn't Idiocracy came out in the same year.
Yes, they did.
That's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like a sequel to Idiocracy would be really great right now, but I don't know if they can make it and have it not just look like they're parodying Fox News.
Well, I feel like trying to do Idiocracy today would have the same issue that The Boys is currently having.
Or South Park.
South Park has more room to work, right? Because they have their crazy ass schedule.
I suppose, yeah. But yeah, The Boys right now, yeah. Whew, that is a hard one to make.
I could feel the sneeze coming. It's like on the edge. I was like,
it's
ready
right
for
there.
It. Like, did you see the interview with the boy with like one of the writers from The Boys?
No.
Apparently, they were so worried about some of the bits from this season being way too over the top, way too crazy. Particularly, I'm going to spoil a little bit of The Boys for y'all folks, but particularly,
I'm caught up. So you're good.
The Homelander God arc that he's going through right now, and they were terrified of this being like, this is going to be way too out of pocket. Like, we've gone way too far.
Trump tweets the
45
AI
minutes.
Jesus thing.
45 minutes before the season premiere.
Can't make this shit up.
Like, it's hilarious to me.
It's so bad.
I'm choosing to find the comedy in it.
I mean, you have to. You live in it.
Exactly. Bringing it back here, I want to talk about a couple more characters because I absolutely adore them, and that is Emily. And I'm going to kind of lump Emily and Andy together because I do think that they work so well together.
The dynamics between Emily Blunt and Anne Hathaway are unparalleled. Like the chemistry is undeniable. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. I love them together. Like there's a couple of gifs I've been using from this movie for years now. But the main one being like the point from Emily of just like, I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. I use that far too much.
Yeah, I could see where you would use that.
And then, yeah, Andy in general is great. I think one of my favorite things in this one is that, hey, her boyfriend was right.
Oh, yeah, 100%, but he's also a dick.
He's a douchebag. But he's right. Like, Andy does change herself for this job.
Oh, very much so.
It's not...
She's a different person by the end of this film, but have you ever met somebody that isn't changed by the job that they do?
Oh, no, never.
It doesn't... It's so difficult to not be a victim of your own experiences, your own environment. So, of course, someone's going to change. And when it's, it's an industry that's as drastic or as debonair as fashion, it's almost inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, though, Andy needs to get better friends. Like, I don't like any of her friends.
I don't, I mean, all of the, outside of the core four cast, I don't really like any character in this film.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's partially intentional.
Sure. But they even brought back some of the friends for the sequel. I'm just like, really?
Seriously?
At least one of them.
Huh. I've purposely seen very little about like who's in it, so
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm the one person that I'm like kind of chill with was like the one gay guy she was friends with. So I'm like, this guy knows what's up. This guy's chilling.
Yeah, I mean that just that just made me think back to like Mean Girls and stuff, though, right? Where there's always everyone's got that one gay friend.
Oh yeah. I mean, in this case, it's him and Stanley Tucci. Which
work husband and life husband, I guess.
Yeah, like I've mentioned, like Nigel is the best character on this. I am very curious to see what they do with him in the sequel. But yeah, I love him. He also has another one of my favorite moments. Actually, oh man, I don't have my phone on me. Because one of my favorite lines of like in the entire movie, when Andy and him are talking in Central Park, and he's like, just like my personal life is on fire. It was something along the lines of, call me when your life is fully up in flames. That's when it's time for a promotion.
Yeah.
Which was one of the most relatable fucking lines in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all felt that at one point or another in our careers.
Griffin just slowly realizing how much they're overworked throughout the this recording.
I mean, that's okay. It just means you're close to a promo.
Yeah, there we go. Actually, we are coming up to a race season here soon. So, if any time it would happen, it would be next month. Keep an eye out, folks. If I suddenly just disappear, that's why. It's not happening. But okay, mentioned those two, and then mentioned Meryl. I think that's everyone we need to mention because it's really only the 4 people that matter.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the other journalism though, played by known Adrian's the boyfriend, Simon Baker.
Yeah.
Man, I love how sleazy this guy is. I love just having a character to hate.
But that's the thing. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's not something you see from movies like this very often. Of just like, yeah, everyone outside of the core cast just sucks.
At the same time, I love it for this specific character.
Yeah.
Because it is a don't meet your heroes situation for Andy. That then drives her back into the fashion stuff and Miranda more.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it just works so well to me in the story. But yeah, he sucks. He sucks so much. I mean, there isn't a single moment in this movie where he is not sleazy as all hell. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's just one of those things of just trying to navigate dating culture now or then. Is one of those just timeless things of, yeah, everyone kind of just sucks. But again, this movie wouldn't be made today because she wouldn't have met any of these guys, because she would have just met a dude on Tinder or Bumble or Humble or whatever.
You're not meeting
I don't know,
people
any
like
of these
that.
places.
Look, I think also, I will say one of the other moments I think is utterly hilarious, to me at least, in this movie, is the fact that at the end of, like, she goes through all this Paris stuff and then she throws her phone in that fountain.
Yeah.
Bro, that phone's how you're getting back to America. Don't get rid of that thing.
Today, yes, but back then she would have had to like physically print out a boarding pass.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have been able to get any of that because Miranda's company is in charge of all that, and she just quit.
Yeah, but you have to assume that they bought return tickets when they left America, so she would have just gone to the airport with her passport and gotten her boarding pass.
I mean, I kind of just assumed that they private jetted their way over.
See, I just assumed.
After there's the whole thing with the hurricane, there's no way that woman is getting back on a commercial airline.
No, but there's no way that she would have paid for all of her crew to fly private with her.
True. Yep, interesting. But yeah, I love that Andy ends up as a journalist. Her interview with the dude at the mirror, such a great moment.
It's interesting too, though, because like her whole premise for getting the role or getting that job was she wanted to eventually be a journalist, which ultimately she ends up doing. Like, she achieves her goal because of where she worked, which ultimately, like, to start off, she didn't want to do this. And then she's just told, spend some time here and it'll open doors to anywhere. And they were right, which you don't see happen very often, of just like, oh, she didn't really have to do anything other than just grind it out. And
it does feel like
she got to get the job she wanted.
It does feel like a very early 2000s mentality, right? Of
everything just kind of worked out.
Like,
which never happens, because if anyone quit their job mid-event and you were international, that would likely blackball you to anywhere, at any time whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. I would say even with that, it's the quote unquote breakup between Miranda and Andy did feel very amicable. Of Miranda being like, no.
There was a mutual respect in their relationship by the end of it, absolutely.
Especially at that moment of where she sees her, gets in the car, and then smiles.
Yeah.
For the first time in the entire movie, which is honestly just impressive for Meryl Streep to not have smiled through any of those other takes.
She's just such a bright person, a bright character.
I wonder how many times they had to retake things because she cracked a smile.
I can only imagine.
But yeah, So, ultimately, Mitch, we've talked about this here for about 30 minutes or so. So let's answer the question. Do you think Devil Wears Prada holds up 20 years later?
Elements of it do. Again, like any media, there are pieces that work and pieces that don't. If I had to say in general, more works than doesn't work here. But there are elements of this movie that I would not recommend anybody follow the advice of at any point whatsoever. But you can say that about almost any media. So I'd say, yeah, it holds up. It was a good watch. It didn't overstay its welcome, which was nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the best thing I can say about this movie. Is like it is 109 minutes. You're in and you're out.
Yeah, I miss movies like that because I expect that Devil Wears Prada 2 is what 119 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we got the news today about the Odyssey. It will be under 300 minutes, or it'll be under 3 hours.
I was going to say under 300 minutes, okay, but like, holy fuck.
It'll be under 3 hours.
That's still too long.
I mean,
do we have an idea yet how long Doomsday is going to be?
I think the rumors were around 2.5.
Oh my god, I don't know. I'm going to sit through these movies.
Yeah, I think this movie absolutely holds up because I think for me the core of this movie is still incredibly important. I think that act of even the most seemingly frivolous things are important is something that's incredible. And then I think a lot of this doesn't hold up. Like you mentioned, like the work culture and whatnot. But I think the core of it still outshines any of and all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of joy to be had from this movie, even though there are elements of this that need to be cautioned against.
So go check this movie out. Highly recommend it. It's on Disney Plus. It's easy.
I also wish that we had Stanley Tucci in the MCU for longer than we did.
I wish we just got more of Stanley Tucci in general.
I mean, yeah.
I love that man.
He's so good at what he does.
What's his next project? What do you think his next project is?
I don't know, but he's got like a Hulu show where he just travels across Italy and eats food, and I kind of want to watch that.
Oh, looks like he was in an animated series on Apple. Yeah, Stanley Tucci searching for Italy on CNN.
Yeah. Oh, CNN. Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's in Citadel. He's just in Devil Wears Prada. I'm bringing up Stanley Tucci's IMDb to wrap this up because genuinely
so am I.
That man is a treasure, and we must protect him at all costs. Upcoming. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like there's nothing major, just a TV series and a movie called Master Plan.
That's okay. He can pick and choose as much as he wants to.
I feel like this man's acting at this point is for the love of the game.
And I appreciate him for it.
At the same time, you are so right. Somehow get this man back into the MCU.
I mean, they did. He was in 2 episodes of What If.
Yeah, but we can do more than that.
I know.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for listening and enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and all the YouTube things, all the podcast things, go do those. We will be back with a very special episode next time. But until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.
Is this coming out before the other thing that we did?
Yes, it is.
Ah, okay, that's why. I'm like, what did we do with it? What? Okay.